All right. Hello, hello, hello. This is Joelle, and I am the Vibrarian. I'm hoping that you can hear me. If you're in the chat room, please let me know that you are there. You know, there's all kinds of screens that you have to navigate when you're doing this. So I'm not sure. Let me do a sound check real quick. There. Okay. All right, wonderful. So I see I've got my moderator here as well. And so let me, hi, hello, hello, all the Good Vibe tribe. Welcome. I'm just going to give it a few minutes here while we get going. Everyone, I am sending such love to all of you. Thank you so much for showing up wherever you are in the world. I'm just sending you all the appreciation and gratitude in my heart. So we are a connected network through this energy here. It becomes apparent how connected we are. And I personally am very, very grateful for that. So just giving it a couple more minutes here and let me start to work with my decks because this is gonna. Oh, hello. Yes, all the sister circle is coming. Helen from Australia. We've got Shannon. We've got Tennessee. We've got Georgia. Thank you, all of you. Beautiful, beautiful souls for coming this evening. So I don't know about you, but it has been, whoo. It has been an intense kind of week or so. It's really had some unexpected twists and turns in terms of all of a sudden stuff coming up for, healing that we may not have even known was there. Some of us are actually going through a physical healing right now, So this message this evening, I want to bring in some messages from our guides, from spirit, as to help us with the issues, and then we'll pull some individual guidance for everyone who's here that will relate to your specific information. Hi, hello, Dawn. All right, we're getting everybody together. I've just loved each and every one of you personally that I know here, and those that I don't know personally. I still love you too because you're part of the Good Vibe tribe. So are getting here. So this is going to be a card pull, and the chat room is lit. Everyone's chatting, and I know my moderator says it's going to be a fun evening. So we are going to make healing fun. Okay, this is not a dreary and dull place. We are here to be delighted by spirit who brings us to this moment through serendipity. For me, I really wasn't aware of any particular issues that needed healing. Of course, I know that life brings you wounds, but the issue that emerged for me was actually past life related, and I didn't even know it. So you can check out my previous reading, the one that I just posted, to kind of get caught up on all of that. But sometimes you didn't even know you had a little boil down in there, and then it needs to be lanced so the toxins come out. So what I wanted to do this evening, my guys gave me a very clear download yesterday of how to approach the energy. So our masculine side and our feminine side work in conjunction with each other to create our unified energetic expression. Now, at the heart of us is always our inner child. Now, our inner child is where we find delight and joy and happiness and fun and all of that, creative play, but also our inner child is where we hold wounds in our inner self, things that maybe an adult might process differently. A tender child, our tender childlike nature can internalize things differently, and that can cause us wounds and trauma as well. So in the spread that they showed me, we're going to look at our masculine, feminine balance, and then the heart of the child at the center of us. And I wanted to look to see, for this part, we're going to use the Soul's Journey guidance, Soul's Journey lessons card. And so we're going to see what is happening here. Oh, and excuse me, because I am following the chat as well. Thank you for popping in, Helen, and It's funny because Helen, you said that you were fighting the darn irritability in your head today. I have a card. I don't even have it with me this particular moment, but I just drew it for a friend of mine about 30 minutes ago. That is actually the card about irritability and irritation. Okay, so that's funny that you mentioned that because there's a horse with lots of little flies buzzing around its head, right? So it was like a pestering energy of thoughts and stuff buzzing around that you just want to right? You get irritated. We've all had a gnat in the room that when you see it fly across your face, you try to go slap at it, it really does irritate you. So that's funny that you share that because that is one of the energies that will probably come up for healing this evening since it is being repeated from multiple quarters. So let us see here. Helen, feel better, and know that the messages when you come back and join us will be perfect. So I want to first draw, we're going to have several decks this evening. So I wanted to first see what the soul's journey message is, and then we're going to see what Archangel Raphael has to say. Archangel Raphael is the medicine of God, the divine healer. And one of my personal synchronicities in terms of Archangel Raphael is that I see ladybugs, or I hear ladybug in terms of when he begins to communicate with me. But the other day on my front door, as I was exiting, there was a little ladybug, and I hadn't seen one in a while, so I knew Archangel Raphael was on hand. So we're going to see what messages he wants to communicate to us today. We're going to look at our chakras, and then we're going to look at some wisdom for healing, and then also our healing the mind cards. And I think that's, yeah, that'll do it. I'm sure that'll take us quite a while. So, so to get right into it, the soul's journey, what is the energy that can be explained to us for our masculine, feminine, inner child, and overall theme? All right, so. All right, so what we have here, this is the energetic picture of what is happening. So on our masculine side, we're dealing with a wound related to success. Success is generally our activity in the external world, whether we have accomplished that thing that we have set out to do, that we have put our energy towards. So there's a healing related to our feeling of successfulness out in the world in our external masculine presentation. And in the feminine, we have surrender. So there is a wound of surrendering and trusting that we are going to be looking at for the feminine side, which deals with our feeling self and our inner state. So we've got success and surrender as the two issues in our masculine and feminine that need some healing attention. And then we have in the inner child, we have this card of guilt, which is very, very interesting, okay? So the guilty child, there is something inside of us that feels some form of responsibility for something. So the overall theme then is about honesty. So we are going to take a deep dive here and see about what each of this message and lesson is. So the feminine side says, surrender, I can release my need to control. So what happens is when we have a wound in our heart where something has touched us very tenderly, it makes us less willing to open ourselves up into putting ourselves out there. And so one of the ways that we try to manage that is we navigate and arrange things in our life so that there is nothing left to chance, with the goal of things already falling into place like we envision them, so that there's no outlier that will blindside us and then cause us harm. So we say that we're open-hearted, we live in this kind of feminine space, but what we do instead of armoring, which would be more of a masculine kind of response to block and block, we control. And so what that can look like is then a lack of the manifestation of trust in spirit. So when we try to overly control the details and manage stuff rather than surrendering, then it's like we shoot ourselves in the foot, if we will, because then the fact that we can't control stuff makes us even more fearful, because then it feels very quickly like things are out of control, right? So that surrender, that art of surrendering to our emotions and surrendering to the harsh world sometimes, rather than being at ease and open to it, is coming up right now. So where are we needing to release some level of control in our life? So let's see what the guidebook here says on surrender. And it looks like one of our chat members also saw a ladybug today. So all right for the ladybug showing up for healing. It says you need to understand the distinction between power and control. You have the power of inner control, but very little external control over people or situations. The majority of your external control is through the power of influence. You can lead by example. Every soul has its own unique path, and it is not your job to dictate it. Giving advice or direction in a compassionate manner is the way to go. Your soul, too, has a path, and you possess the power to control it, but you must surrender the illusion that you have control over another. Remember that this is a process, and from time to time, your ego will rise up and demand that things be the way they, quote unquote, should be. Envision a hot air balloon being loaded up with all of the things you think you need to control, and let them ride away in the balloon. You'll be surprised to find that when you release the energy of control and accept the energy of surrender, doors will open that you never expected, because you have now given the universe space in which to materialize what is needed for your highest soul growth. Okay, this is very, very interesting. All right, I'm like sitting with this myself, like, okay, where are the issues? You know, the eclipses bring the opportunity in our internal and external world for there to be sudden changes and shifts, right? And so the external one can be very uncomfortable, because when things suddenly change in society, that absolutely destroys all the structures of control that we built up in order to survive and manage that. So we've just had the solar eclipse behind the lunar eclipse kind of cycle. So the things that we are, especially what has us uneasy as we go into the coming months, is, okay, are we going to be locked down? Are we not going to be locked down? Is there going to be another variant? Is there not going to be another variant? Am I going to be able to keep my job? Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to be able to see my family? Am I not going to? I mean, there's so much uncertainty in the external world. And when you surrender your need to know what's going on, then this can make the process so much easier for you. A lot of times the wounds that we encounter are actually from trying to hold on to things that are out of control, you know, and sometimes the best thing to do is release it. That, like if we're holding on to a rope or something and it's fraying and it's hurting our hands, if we just release it, then the hurt opportunity is no longer there. Now, we might get banged up as we fall to the ground from letting go to the rope, but it won't be an ongoing wound where that rope is running through our hands, tearing it to the bone, because we're trying to hold on so tightly to control the reins of the situation. Control the reins, okay, for the horse and the irritation synchronicity that we just spoke about earlier. Okay, so the masculine side of ourselves, our empowered success. And this is, I know that there is no greater goal than to love. Now, this is interesting because our external, the masculine, which represents the external and the production of things, bringing things into the form realm. I don't know that many people would say, well, more people than used to, but would say, oh, I'm a successful love bug, right? I'm a successful love bug. You don't hand out your business card and say, oh, I'm a successful Fortune 500 love bugger, right? It says I'm a successful Fortune 500 business owner. It's all about material. So the idea that success is something that is measured by our physical material gain is something that has been very wounded for people in the last 2 years. If your job ended, or if you had to take a layoff during the pandemic, if you're underemployed, if you are leaving your employer in search of better employment or a different condition of your employment, the question comes up about, okay, well, are you going to be successful? What are you going to do? Are you going to rebuild your career over again? Are you going to start from fresh, right? It's challenging all of the things that we thought. Some of us were successful business owners before the pandemic. And then all of a sudden, all of our structures were wiped out and taken away. And so we can be challenged by a wound of feeling not good enough, of feeling like we personally had some form of failure contribution, or that we will be judged by society as being unsuccessful. Now, it's interesting because my best friend's son, Jed, who's like my little nephew, for a while, a period of time, I was living with her husband and family in between trips in and out of the country. And every day when Jed would pass by my room to school, I would wake up and I would say, have a successful day. And he would say, I will. And then at the end of the day, I would ask him, so what was your success today? And for a long time, he would just kind of throw off a little statement. Oh, I successfully did this, that, and the other. But it was really meaningless stuff until I finally kind of got him to a place where it was like something he was challenged by. Like, he didn't get into an argument with the little boy when the boy tested him that day. And that was success. At one point he was saying, oh, I finished all my questions before everybody else finished them. And that was his success criteria. But the fact that he missed the learning while he was racing to be the successful first finisher, then he was missing out on the actual value of the learning experience. So, it took a while. He was like 9 at the time, 8, 9, 10, somewhere. He's now 10. So he's probably like 8. So it took a while for us to have the conversation to be able to explain to him, success may not be what you think it is, right? And of course, being a little masculine, he was very much concerned about his output being first in a group of others, being the top scorer, being, all those things were what he was thinking was success. And what I was thinking were success were challenges and situations that he might have struggled with, or things that he overcame during the day. So you can see there's a definite difference between how the masculine and the feminine view success, but we definitely want to look at how love can be our success goal and outcome. So let's see what it says here about success. And it says, I know that there's no greater goal than to love. Success can mean many things to the ego self, but the soul only knows one simple triumph, and that is to love. When your soul is no longer manifested in the physical dimension, it is a time of reflection on how successful it was with that endeavor. The soul doesn't care how big your house was, or how nice your car was, or how many bank accounts you had. The soul only cares about how you expressed love and compassion. In the infinite wisdom of the universe, the more love you demonstrate, the more you will receive. Even your ego's definition of success is altered. Your notion of how you would be perceived as successful will change. The material things that you thought would make you happy will not have the same appeal. I love that because it says, the more love you demonstrate, the more you will receive. So, like in the feminine side of the nature, that is the intention and the feeling of love. And the masculine is the demonstration, excuse me, is the demonstration in the external world of that energy. So, I love how that puts it. So, success and surrendering internally, surrendering externally, and using a different map because we're all switching to a new system. I think that's going to be a lot more healthy for most of us. Now, the inner child is dealing with issues of guilt. So I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. So we all know as a child, if you're a parent, you know when your child has that guilty look on their face, right? You know when your pet, especially if you have a dog, I don't think cats really care. I was going to cuss there for a second, but I don't think cats give a darn, right? But dogs have the courtesy at least to look guilty when you come in the house and they've chewed up your shoes or made a mess, or if you call their name with the wrong energy, that dog will start looking like, what did I do, right? So that energy of what did I do in our childhood, a lot of times we learn that we have to control ourselves, our nature to cry, to play and to giggle and to run or to talk out. We begin receiving messages that pull that energy back and say, no, you're too loud. No, you're too that. Look, you made a mess. Look, you did that. All those kinds of things. When guilt then is the response. And in some children, unfortunately, they begin to own sometimes the circumstances of the adults in their reality, right? So when parents wind up getting divorced, sometimes the child will begin to feel guilty because they will bring into themselves the energy saying that they somehow contributed to the failure of that marital situation, right? And it's through no fault of the parents either in some situations, although many parents in divorcing, they do tear their children into it and pull them against each other. So that's very, very, harmful to a child. Even like if a child spills something, if a child makes a mess, right? Like I know, having observed children, they'll say, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to make a mess, because they feel guilty. And then when the parent says, it's okay, accidents happen, right? Versus, well, you shouldn't have been running and playing in the such and such, then it wouldn't have happened, and right? That anger. So the guilt patterning of that child can be deeply impacted. So the invitation is to sit with where you might have received messages of being guilty of something, like your inner child feels responsible for something that is a wound that you're carrying inside that was not your responsibility. And so putting that in a different context, there's an opportunity for us to do that through healing at this time. So let's see what the guidance here says about guilt. Let's see, the energy of fear has many guises to complicate your path to loving yourself. Guilt is the most devious because it is a wolf in sheep's clothing. It is a self-imposed emotion that pretends to be instructive and enlightening. Guilt can help us grow when we realize that our actions have been hurtful to others and that we need to make amends. After we do so, though, it's time to learn from the behavior and move on. The problem arises when we hold on to a guilty feeling that serves no purpose, rather than promoting self-destructiveness and low self-esteem. No one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Guilt is not always rational, but if you examine it subjectively, act on it, and release it, it becomes a temporary emotion. Long-held guilty feelings are never good and will create a roadblock to self-love and happiness. You must continually scan your current emotions for any guilty feelings and bring them to the surface for analysis. Healthy guilt is a warning that action should be taken. Irrational guilt needs to be released. All right, so healthy guilt, bad and irrational guilt. Was it my responsibility? Did I really need to own that? Or is it something that I took on out of a state of unawareness and just wanting to be loved? Did I burden myself with responsibility for something in order to feel more worthy or to be seen as more worthy by those that I was trying to appease? All right, so bringing up deep-seated, hidden things and wounds of our inner child, but we're treating them with honesty, right? And all I could think of is Billy Joel's honesty. It's such a simple word. And he's like, it's such a simple word, but it's so hard to do because part of our mind and our ego framework also, it reviews things with bias in a lot of ways, right? So getting past the core of our personal perception and bias, getting past that to take an honest look at something is what is called for now. And that's where we could say, did I co-contribute? What was my co-contribution to the dynamic? Now, if as a child you know that you were wayward, you were running around and you were willy-nilly, and you were always breaking things because you didn't care and you were acting out, okay, then you can honestly look back and say, oh, I was a handful, okay, right? But as an adult, you can also look back and say, you know what? My parents probably never should have been married in the first place. And I'm not talking about my personal parents. I'm just saying if you're in a situation when there's been a divorce or separation and you've been owning the guilt, especially if you have a parent like that maybe dealt with alcohol issues or drug addictions when you were a child, like honestly looking at and saying, those addictions were not mine. I was not responsible for the happiness and the issues that led to that person growing me up in a toxic environment. Even in the workplace, like if we honestly look at things that we are made to feel guilty for or responsible for, we can look at it very objectively and say, oh, that wasn't my responsibility. I'm not going to own that. It's not mine, not my, you know what I'm saying? So in the terms of honesty here, we have, I'm gonna put Billy Joel honesty in the links to this video afterwards because it's in my head now, but I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. Being truthful with others is a slippery business. You are expected to tell and expected to be told white lies. No one wants their feelings hurt, but sometimes a strong dose of reality is needed. No one can tell you definitively in what circumstances an untruth would be better, but honestly is usually the best policy. You and only you know in your heart when the right time is to be totally honest. The only time you must be absolutely truthful is when you are addressing yourself. You must at all times present yourself authentically to those around you. Only by being yourself do you draw in the people and circumstances that you most need to learn from. Wow, that's interesting because a lot of times our ego voice is not necessarily the honest voice that can give us the truth about our situation, because the ego voice wants to protect you. So it's not going to leave anything unturned in terms of when it begins to have that conversation with you, because it would rather be quote unquote brutally honest with you than to have someone else take you to task out in the external world. And sometimes the things that our ego mind creates us to our situation, that is what leads us to feeling guilty, because it looks for the explanation of stuff, and we are not necessarily to fault. And so like the things that we like sometimes try to sugarcoat the truth to people and take their feelings into account, and we don't say what we probably said in our head, we say what we've decided to put into nice words. Well, we need to treat ourselves to some degree with that same nicety, even when delivering a harsh truth. You know, for myself, like for example, a harsh truth is, do I need another cupcake today? No, that's the harsh truth, right? But the kindness that I speak to myself would be the same kindness that I would say to a friend when I gently say, oh, you know, cupcakes, and, you know, I have my daily quota limit. Let's both push back, right? So that same softness, instead of that voice that says, you know, you ate another cupcake today. Now you should feel guilty because you have 400 extra calories, right? So that's the conversation that is not helpful. And that just continues to make us feel guilty and bad. Our inner child feels wrong for that want or desire or behavior. So dealing with, when they say brutal honesty, I think that's a harsh word, because if we were brutally honest, and the things that, you know, in all the movies where they show when a person can hear the thoughts of others, it's the brutal honesty that's most shocking, is that they're like, men really think that? Oh, women really think that? Oh, you really think that about me? There's always a comedy scene in movies like that where you get to hear the real thoughts. And generally the person who's received the gift of hearing people's thoughts around them winds up not wanting it anymore, because they realize that those thoughts can be very hurtful and negative, right? So looking at the quality of honesty. So we've got our energetic layout of our internal masculine, feminine, and child, and then the overall theme of being honest in our evaluation. So now I want to see what we've got. People say honesty is truth. All right. Yes, honesty is truth, but you know, everybody's truth isn't the same necessarily. So, you know, there's subjective truth and objective truth. All right, but let's see here, because a lot of times we give subjective truth rather than objective truth, meaning it's based on how we see it versus rather than being neutral. And Helen says, sometimes, honestly, that extra cupcake was exactly what you needed, especially from Gooba. Okay, from Gooba's Gourmet Cupcakes, yeah. Yes, but in my case, you know, having a best friend who's a baker means there's a few too many cupcakes in my reality. And it's interesting because as I'm looking at the screen, I've got 333 and 14 and 7. Those are synchronistic numbers for everybody. All right. And it just changed to 48. All right. So let's see what Archangel Raphael, with guidance he wants to share for our healing in this present moment. Right. The divine healer, Raphael. What do we have here? Wow. Okay. This is interesting. All right. Hello to the hot Archangel Raphael guy sitting here with the 6-pack and a cornucopia of vegetables. He's got his little towel on. I'm laughing because I've been on Instagram too much, and you know, there's all kinds of messages like this, but it's not always from Archangel Raphael. Okay, so it says here, dear Archangel Raphael, please help me enjoy the benefits of sunshine in safe and healthy ways. So we are bringing out these things that are inside, and we're shining some light on these wounds of our inner child, of our masculine and feminine. We're bringing them out to the sunshine and the fresh air. We just had the new moon, partial solar eclipse, I think. So bringing everything out into the sunlight, and you see he's got a basket here of things. So, you know, we might have a basket full of stuff inside of us that we need to allow to come to the sunlight, to allow it to freshen up and to have a new perspective instead of hiding that guilt in our hearts, okay? It's interesting because here we have this purple and green, his purple towel and the green and the honesty. All right, for the synchronistic colors, heart chakra green and purple, crown chakra. The other message from Archangel Raphael is yes, and it says, "Dear Archangel Raphael, please help me trust my feelings as the accurate barometer of truth." So here we have the truth, and look at this little baby. This is our inner child, just covered by the angel. Like, this is the heart of us, the innocent, pure, beautiful little babies that are here being brought forth for healing in this moment. Both of them like in a manger and a basket, right? So the innocence of our soul. So let's see here. The sunlight message from the Archangel Raphael says, the sun rays have natural curative power. Although balancing your exposure is essential to avoid sun damage, there are also numerous scientifically verified health benefits. This card may be guiding you to visit a sunny locale or invest in a full spectrum lighting device. Archangel Raphael is prescribing vitamin D in its most natural form for your health. Possible meanings of the card: develop a sunny disposition, visualize light surrounding the issue at hand, move to a warmer climate, spend more time outdoors. A health condition is affected by the weather. Dear Archangel Raphael, please help me enjoy the benefits of sunshine in safe and healthy ways. Okay, to the viewer who is currently getting over an illness, that mentioned that as the sun sets, they begin to feel worse. Get a SAD lamp to the house, the seasonal affective disorder lamp to the house as soon as possible, and triple, quadruple up on the vitamin D so that you can chase the blues away. Very, very interesting about sunlight. This individual, okay, 1444 is coming up on the time sync. This individual I know spends a lot of time out in the sunlight, out in nature, and there is, if you've been ill, there is a deficiency of sunlight in your life. So let's go ahead and bring some sunshine into your reality. And for the rest of us, now, if you were in the northern hemisphere from Atlanta upward, from what I've heard, we don't actually absorb vitamin D from the sunshine after a certain point of time, like late October, I think. But that is not to say that being out in the sunshine, in the sunshine itself is helpful, even if it's not necessarily boosting the vitamin D inside, okay? And so here we have people that said they sat by the window sunbathing today. Another viewer said the lamps are very helpful. I have another friend who ordered a lamp like maybe last year, runs it every day. So, you know, we definitely need that boost of vibrant energy. And I know it was kind of rainy here in Atlanta a couple of days this week, so it was chillier, dreary, but the sun has been back out a little bit. I think it will be coming out more. So please try to make sure that you actually get some sunshine. It makes things fresh inside and out. So allow the sunshine to continue to illuminate within these issues also that are affecting your inner sweet baby child. Okay, so let's see what the yes here says. All right, yes, yes, yes. Let's see here. All right, one of our chats says, I had a shower and a good cry. I'm feeling held by you all and shining again. I have 2 lamps now. Okay, everybody's shining. Hey, a good cry, a good ugly cry is good for the soul. Bring it out and let it be expressed. Okay, so let's read this yes here. The answer to your question is yes. You probably already knew this, and Archangel Raphael wishes to validate your intuitive feelings. This card is a talisman to help you deal with current situations and prepare for the future. Sometimes the greatest gift you can receive is knowing what to expect next. Sometimes the greatest gift you can receive is knowing what to expect next. Raphael reminds you that everything can change in even more positive directions. So stay open to your intuitive wisdom, which will guide you along the way. Possible messages, things are going in a positive direction. You're on the right path. A recent change proves healthful. Accept an offer that was made to you. A new opportunity is imminent. Yes, your feelings are accurate. The prayer, dear Archangel Raphael, please help me trust my feelings as the accurate barometer of truth. All right. So when we trust, then we can surrender and we will be successful. We will not have to have guilt. We can release that in the sunlight and come into a new level of honesty with ourselves through this conversation. Okay, so continuing on here. All right, we're working our way through the decks, everybody. I'm getting ready to get to the personal readings here in just a moment. First, we're going to see what is the message for the wisdom for our healing. All right, what do we need to water and do as we bring stuff out into the sunlight from our inner world to be healed? All right, wow, this is funny. All right, clear out old debris. Today's lesson, engage in a psychic cleansing. How much debris do you carry in your energy field? Debris is generated by irritation. Okay, irritation. I'm gonna have to get that irritation card. Hold on. Before this is all said and done. Clear out old debris. Debris is generated by irritation, stress, unfinished business, and mental and emotional toxins. It's distracting and disempowering to the healing process. Your goal to release unnecessary thoughts and emotions. Your goal is to release unnecessary thoughts and emotions. Wow, that's so awesome, because I promise you that horse, his head, he's got these little flies and thoughts circling around his head. So releasing unnecessary thoughts and emotions. And she is sweeping out the baggage. All right. And it says here, see the good in everything. And today's lesson, this is a day for optimism only. No matter what comes your way, your task is to see only the favorable attributes in it. Your goal is to practice the power of positive thinking. Look at that sun. Look at that sunlight that she's sitting in there, right? Okay, positive thinking. I love that. Beautiful, wise elder sister, okay? And here it has, spend the day with God. Look at that. Out with God in nature, with your back against a tree or out in the ocean, just in your own space. It says, this is a day for you to spend with God, a day of prayer, a day of silence. Imagine that your entire world is a sacred chapel. Every inch of your life is filled with grace and the presence of the divine. Your goal to visualize yourself in the company of heaven every minute of the day. Okay, that is beautiful. So I think that says tomorrow, because today's almost over here, spend the day with God. I think we have a date. Now, that's not a bad date. You get to choose what your date with God looks like. Is it a walk in the woods? Is it a nap? Is it a hot bath? You have the whole day with each other every day, but what can you do tomorrow to really, really, what would you do if you were with your boo? What would you do if you had a day without your kids? What would you do if you had a snow day? What would you do if you called in sick from work? Do that with God tomorrow, okay? So we can deepen our connection. And it says, enhance your physical health. Look at this little basket of stars. Here we have this basket theme continuing to be revisited from stuff. And it says here, think about how you view yourself as a physical being. Do you perceive yourself as weak or strong? Do you tend to make excuses for why you're not proactive in your healing when you can see what you can and what can and should be done? Do you tend to make excuses for why you're not proactive in your healing when you see what can and should be done? Your goal to initiate one positive action in your life to enhance your physical health. All right, that's beautiful. So we have also 1616 just had a sync and 844 had a sync. All right, for those who are watching. All right, so physical health, getting outside in the sunlight definitely will be an enhancement to our physical health as well. So, I mean, physical health, not having another cupcake, I could deal with that too, honestly, right? Okay, so now we want to talk about from the these are the Healing the Mind and Spirit cards by Dr. Brian Weiss. Now, I love Dr. Brian Weiss's book, Many Lives, Many Masters. It's all about reincarnation and how we've been here before. He discovered it with his psychiatry clients and has written books about it. And this is his oracle deck. So we want to see about healing the mind and spirit, what additional guidance wants to come out for us in this moment. All right. Oh, I can forgive others even if they hurt me. Even if they have hurt me, I can forgive others. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It means understanding. All right, so we have here this feeling of being honest, right? The honesty, right? Similar colors. So being honest with ourselves as to what happened in a situation and forgiving them, all of that, you know, this is the energy that will help us move through our healing right now. Right now, there's a lot of things that seem very unforgivable. It really, really does. Like there's any number of positions that you can take in a spectrum of positions that are unforgivable to others, right? So like forgiving doesn't mean forgetting, it means understanding. And even if we're hurt by it, then being in that forgiveness energy. So we find that very hard to do, honestly, because wounds go deep, especially if things have gone back to our inner childhood, right? So, all right, let's see what other guidance here is. Wow. I do not judge others, and I do not let others judge me. It is important to understand rather than to judge, to forgive, and to be more loving. It is important to understand rather than to judge, to forgive, and to be more loving. All right, we've got that third eye open. We've got all the pieces of the puzzle there. In this kind of looks like the Microsoft logo, you know, at one point in time, but judging others, right? Forgiving and not judging others are the messages that will help us move through our healing. And the final guidance here is, I remember that only love is real, okay? excuse me, only love is real. Let me put the cards away, because what happens is I keep on pulling and I keep on getting messages. So, I could do this all night, but that's not what we're here for. So here we have, I remember that only love is real. Love is the energy that fills the universe. Love fills every cell of your body, every atom of your being. All right. Woo, okay, so we've got some deep things to heal that have to do with forgiveness, guilt, our feelings of being successful in the world, our feelings of control and what we do to manage that, and allowance, and then wounds from our childhood as well are coming up right now. So for those who are in the chat room, I will draw cards for you about, if you just pop in the chat and let me know that you would like cards, and I will pull those up for you. So, and thank you everyone. There's some beautiful people in the chat room, some beautiful high vibe people. Check out on Instagram. Let me just name a few of the names that I have here. We have Heaven to Earth 1111, beautiful high vibe spiritual guidance and posts that are very informative about the current energies. We have Gooba's Gourmet, homemade baked goods that spread love wherever they go. We have Holistic Health and Wellness in Marietta, Georgia, which is Holistic ATL. I think it might be Holistic Atlanta, Holistic _ATL. I'm not sure, Don, if you're still in the chat room, pop it up in here. Also, we have Naked Lady Mandalas, who is an amazing artist and energy fractal creator and just beautiful sister. Please check out her work as well. And then we have Good Trouble Hair in the place at Good Trouble Hair. Thank you for you guys showing up this evening for the chat. Please go check out these folks, because we are part of the same tribe of loving souls who are here on this journey supporting each other. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I see Cree in the house as well. And hey, Cree. And I don't know who else is here. I'm just kind of able to see who's chimed in the chat, but definitely I'm grateful for you and your presence here today. So I know DB, which I believe is Don, you are going to get your cards here in just a moment. Let me get myself, oh, it's Holistic _Atlanta. Yes. Metaphysical shop opened up in Marietta. You can go get your high vibe products and things. And I've had retreats at Holistic holistic events at the retreat space that they have up in Marietta as well. This is the new metaphysical shop shining the light in a plaza up in Marietta, Georgia. And again, if you're in the Outer Banks in North Carolina, you need to check out Naked Lady Mandalas. If you're in Tennessee, Heaven to Earth, we are a grid of beautiful, lovely, lovely souls who came together for this journey in this present time. Okay, so let's see, DB first. Let's go with your healing guidance here. What does the universe want to say to you in this now moment? All right. First two cards for you are, I fill myself with love and my love overflows to others. All right, definitely beautiful, beautiful energy here. Look at that heart just radiating out. I fill myself with love and my love overflows to others. And then we have here, only in community, only in relationships, only in service can we truly understand the all-encompassing energy of love. Wow, that's great. All right, you have got a place that you have set up to be a community resource to spread love and spirit and truth through your healing services in your store up there, DB. So this is beautiful messages here. And then your second one is, I am constantly evolving into a more spiritual person. If you're evolving into a more loving, more compassionate, less violent person, then you're moving in the right direction. All right, you're moving on up. All right, in the right direction. That's beautiful. Now let's see here about the wisdom card for you. And let me know if you want to be next. If in the chat, let me know if you'd like for me to pull some cards for you here. All right, break negative habits. Look at him running away from something. Look at that, he on the move, buddy. This funny card, break negative habits. Be cognizant of one negative practice you engage in that causes you to lose power and work on changing that situation. This could be thinking negative thoughts, overeating, or being constantly late. Your goal to recognize that modifying or releasing unproductive habits can be challenging and even unpleasant, but it's essential that you do so. Okay, and the next one is, change direction. Look at this, the weather, and he's sitting there, he's going any which way the wind blows, I think, going with the flow. It says, know that healing sometimes depends on the strength, willingness, and ability to change direction. Many people postpone doing so due to fear or laziness, but then they wonder why they're not happy and healthy. Your goal to make one solid, effective healing choice by the end of the day. No pressure. Okay. In the end of the day, that can positively change the direction of your life. Okay, I'm laughing because in the chat room, for those of you who come later, the baker is asking DB, does she need to be cut off from the cookies and pies? Is this a problem? Her negative habit hopefully is not a cupcake habit. No, I joke, but anyways, so breaking a negative habit and then being open to change directions. All right. Okay, so let's see here. Dawn, let's put these back. I know, Cree, you said you would like a reading, right? We got Cree. Who else is in here? Okay, Tanya. I'm looking to see if Melanie or Shannon pop in. But let's see here. Let me get all these cards back in place for the next round. All right, so for Cree, what guidance does Spirit have for you about your healing in this now moment? Let's see. Bring humor into your life. All right, look at this little clown right here. Today's lessons, think about whether you truly have a sense of humor. Healing is enhanced with humor, and laughter can lighten almost anything, certainly most day-to-day irritations. All right, for the theme of irritations coming up, all right, from the first part of this video, your goal to bring humor to everything that causes you stress, as this is one of the most empowered responses that you can have. All right, find the joke, find the humor in it, and choose to empower yourself. All right, look, she's a woman of many hats. She's wearing many hats. She's doing, she's doing many things, like a Jill of all trades, like, right? So today's lesson, this is a day to practice the power of choice. Choose the quality of mood you want. That is whether you'll adopt a positive or negative attitude. The choice is up to you. Your goal, to realize that you do have the ability to enhance your life each day. All right. So bringing humor into your life and choosing to empower. And let's see what the wisdom is for healing the body and soul, mind and spirit. That's what it is. Let's see what we got here. All right, Dawn says she does not have a cupcake addiction problem, and she does not need anyone's help cutting her off to leave her negative habit, whatever it is. So thankful to hear that, Dawn, because, Those are pretty good cupcakes. Let's see here. All right, Cree, what have we got? I know that my way is not the only way. Even though there may be one truth, be aware that many approaches lead to this truth. All right, many avenues to get there to the bottom line. And we know the universal truth is that everything is love. All right, and then we have here, I am not affected by the negative emotions of others. Look at this little cloud, right? The cloud being projected over to you and saying, I am not going to be affected by it. It says, continue to listen, to learn, and to love, even if someone else is angry, hurt, or fearful. All right, so you can hear the honest come to Jesus talk in a way that is able to still hear what's being sent to you without necessarily cutting it off and not listening to it and shutting it out, right? So know that my way is not the only way, and I am not affected by others' negative emotions. Bring humor into your life and choose to empower yourself. All right, those are the messages for Cree. And so let's see here for the next person we have. All right, for Shannon, let us see what are the healing messages the Spirit wants to communicate today. For Shannon, what do we have? All right. I live my life knowing that experience is stronger than belief. Know your thoughts and assumptions and realize that you may have swallowed them whole. Learn from your experiences, discard outdated beliefs and thoughts. All right, she's looking out into the universe, looking at objects that are far, far away, scanning the night skies. You know, we are star beings, right? So like knowing and realizing what you may have swallowed in terms of belief systems, all right? And in accompaniment to that is, I release any attachment to the results of my good actions. Look at that. She's sending all that energy out into the world, filling up those little love bubbles and sending them off with that beautiful pink and the solar energy and the love energy to reach out with love, to do your best and not be so concerned with results or outcomes. That's the way to live. All right, living free, just being love and not being concerned with where those little balloons of love and all that land. All right, let's see here. And this one, of course, want to be seen. I am much greater than my body or my brain. You are not merely your physical self. You existed before you came into your physical body, and you will exist after you leave your body. You're out there in those stars. All right. All right. We're a drop of water as well. Be like water. Love these cards. Okay. And then for you from the Wisdom for Healing cards, Shannon. Right. Let's see here. Wow. Rely on yourself. Look at her. This is like being guided by your inner illumination. Reminds me of the Six of Swords card in tarot. But look at that, out on the lake in a canoe. Okay. It says, look at the issue of dependency. Do you rely upon others to do what you should be doing for yourself? Healing is a solo endeavor. And while we all need support during this process, ultimately the task of self-empowerment rests within us. Your goal to identify and modify the ways in which you release personal responsibility to others. All right. Woo. I tell you what, I take every message that comes through me for myself as well. So y'all are giving me some great, great guidance tonight for myself. Thank you, Spirit, for all of us. Okay. And then, oh, examine unfinished business. Look at this little puzzle piece waiting to be put into the mosaic. Look at that. Today's lesson, identify one piece of unfinished business that could relate to a person or a task. Then do one thing to bring it to closure. If you find that you're unable to do so, you've identified a major power leak and a serious block to your healing. Your goal to understand that all experiences either make you bitter or better. Ooh, okay. I didn't know I had unfinished business until I bust out crying after the movie from like a deep soul place. So clearly, unfinished business is coming for all of us. This unfinished business that's affecting that inner child and those feelings inside of being judged and guilt and all that. So these situations where we need forgiveness, I think, yeah, forgiveness came out earlier, right? So and forgiving others and not forgetting. All right, beautiful. All right, so, and then the other thing here, I have to say this because it's visualize a healthy body and mind. Visualize yourself as a completely healthy person inside and out. Do one thing that brings you closer to achieving that state. Your goal to do whatever it takes to become the healthiest you possible. So definitely visualize a healthy body and mind. You are so powerful as a visionary and intentional creator. So we are going to support you as you visualize a healthy body and mind tonight. Okay. All right. So I think we had Tanya said that she would like a poll. Okay. Ooh, one of the ladies says, cleaning up unfinished business with my mother and forgiveness, although came up. We haven't talked since 11/11. And of course, today she called. All right, and we're at a 22 right there on the information, on the tag that I'm looking at. So we've got that double twos and the 11/11 as well, which is 22. All right, so I don't know, Melanie, if you let me know if you want some cards, I'll get to you after Tanya. I don't read without permission if we're talking personal, spiritual business rather than collective. So unless you indicate in the chat that you would like to have cards, then I just won't be randomly reading everybody. So, all right, let's see here. All right, I've got to get everything put back to where it is. I've got decks everywhere. It's crazy. It's a madhouse over here. Okay. Okay. So, all right. What we have here for Tanya then. All right. Messages for healing the mind and spirit. I release all anger because anger harms me. Understand the source of your anger and let it go. Anger harms your body as well as your mind. Boom. All right. And I think before I speak. Words make a powerful impact and they're not easily forgotten. Wounds inflicted by words of anger or hate can last a very long time. All right. Boom. All right. Think before I speak. I release all anger because anger harms me. How many of us have stuff we got anger about? All right. I think all of us can find something. All we got to do is click on the internet a little bit. And all we got to do is, make a couple phone calls and we can certainly be in a state of anger very easily, right? So the whole goal is that we don't wall off our hearts as a way to avoid being angry, We look for ways that we can speak our truth with compassion, love, because love is all there is. All right. Let's see what other guidance comes from the Wisdom for Healing deck for you in this moment related to thinking before you speak and managing anger. All right. Oh, appreciate everything. On this day, affirm my life is perfect. Appreciate everything and everyone in your life without doubt or expectations. Your goal to learn that the way to set change in motion is to bless and feel grateful for even the most difficult parts of your life. Look at that, holding that little beautiful egg. Okay. And people in the chat room, somebody says, I got anger for sure. And somebody, me too. Okay. So, I mean, like I said, we all can tap into anger. Oh, identify change. Look at this. She's got this key here. Look at this inside of this door, all these puzzle pieces. I don't have the card from the previous reading, but it was a person putting a puzzle piece, unfinished business, up on the wall. So, you know, here we have a lot of pieces inside this room locked away into a closet, but these are flowers as well. I don't know, maybe she's opening the door and going outside. Not sure. It says here, identify one small change that you've been postponing that would improve your life. This could be anything from clearing a drawer to getting a new hairstyle. Change symbolically can be frightening. Your goal to recognize that you postpone even small, insignificant changes because intuitively you know that they can ignite powerful ones. One small change and a whole cascade of things can come up. All right, so we got about moving through anger, speaking, thinking before you speak, and then appreciating everything and identifying some changes. All right, beautiful messages here for Tanya. All right, so, you know, it says, observe your conversations, and look at this. She's drinking coffee, sitting at the table. I know that you sit at the coffee and drink table. Sit at the coffee and drink table. You sit at the table and drink coffee. Okay, so that's interesting that this card comes out, but it says, observe the conversation you engage in today. Are they productive or mean-spirited? Are they filled with gossip or stimulating information? Your goal to recognize the quality of information you feed your mind each day. All right. All right. Beautiful messages. All right. Going on to the next person, we have Melanie. Let's see what guidance for healing the mind and spirit is available for you today. I'm just like hot on the inside from all these downloads. Okay. Woo. Right. Oh, well, here we have another one. I do not judge others, and I do not let others judge me. It's important to understand rather than to judge, to forgive, and to be more loving. Okay. I do not judge others, and I do not let others judge me, right? Because again, we're back to our perspective, looking through that eye. All right, and we have here, oh, wow. I release any attachment to the results of my good actions, to reach out with love, to do your best and not be so concerned with the results or outcomes. That's the way to live, right? You're infusing your energy in the world, you're sending it out there. Release it. It's little love bombs and creative bombs, and you release it knowing that the energy is just in it, and you won't know where that balloon lands, right? Out in the world, all right? And wow, this is crazy. I can forgive others even if they have hurt me. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting, it means understanding. Wow, so this repetition, and look here, is conversation between two people. All right, I love it when they reiterate messages, right? All right, so then also for Melanie here, the wisdom for healing. Let's see what guidance wants to come up. Now, if it's the same guidance as before, I love it when it overlaps, because that means we're all really so connected in our journey and experience, more so than we know. We're all dealing with similar themes at any given point in our time perspective. All right, so let's see what the wisdom for healing is today. Dare to be creative. Oh, I love this, because you are an artist. Look at her painting the rainbow in the sky. Dare to be creative. I will say you are out there, drawing your art on sidewalks and pavements and art exhibits and being creative. And I know you recently started using like a different medium in your mandalas as well. So I love this. Okay. Shannon says, these messages for all of us. I had a fiery energy of anger the night before she took ill. All right, so yes, they are for all of us, right? Dare to be creative. She's painting the sky. I love that. Think about all of the creative ideas that come to you in one day. How many do you dismiss as trivial or unproductive? Healing requires impractical and daring creativity. Your goal to observe how you respond to your own creative voice. Are you receptive or self-critical? Ooh, all right. I mean, let me tell you, I am very critical about my art. But you know what? I have the best time drawing and coloring books. That's the extent of my art. I don't have like the creative gift of bringing forms to life and visibility, unless you count stick figures, you know what I'm saying? But I do get very critical of myself sometimes when I'm even coloring, if I color outside the lines, right? So I have that inner critic as well. And we talked about that voice of honesty in the first part of this reading as well. And it says here, oh, let go of resentment. Acknowledge one resentful feeling you need to release, and keep in mind that all types of resentment are poison and harm the healing process. Your goal to become mindful of your reasons for staying angry and to begin letting go of negative feelings by the end of the day. Ooh, boy, let me tell you what. Look at the difference between these two cards, right? So you've got blowing up the balloon with love and beautiful colors and releasing it out into the world, for the results and outcomes, versus, look at here, she's got little dark things coming out, right? Those what says let go of resentment. So we definitely can release those as well. Okay. Wow. So, okay. And of course, I always see these things. Eat healthful foods is also a reminder. Okay. And I know that you are very concerned about what you eat, that you are, very mindful of the animal beings on the planet. And so this is a beautiful nod to that. And look, it's like also healthful foods can also be the diet of what we ingest of the world around us. These little things are love, they're hearts. I don't know if you could see it real good, but it's like the hearts are the soup in the bowl. Like she's dressed in pink. So it's like eating love, right? Eat only the foods that are good for you. Perhaps this is something you normally do, in which case you should feel very good about how well you're caring for yourself. Most people, however, know that they should be more attentive to this area, but find it difficult. Your goal to practice healthy nutrition. All right, so nutrition, mind, body, and spirit, what you ingest. All right. Wow. Oh, and Melody says that her mom just started juicing. All right. So I love how these come together. Is there anyone, have I missed someone in the chat? Please let me know. I'll give it just a few minutes here while I begin to work with the chakra healing cards for the final bit of our message today. If anyone else has have I forgotten anybody? Let me know. All right, let's see here. Feminine energy, letting go with awareness. That is what Shannon says, and surrendering. All right. All right. So let us see. I'm going to go ahead and close up that part of the reading. And so now these cards are Reiki cards from a lady down in Australia. And I am a Reiki practitioner. And these cards, actually, I received the attunement to the symbols on this card because it is a different Reiki system than, like, say, Usui or Karuna Reiki. And so when I ordered the cards, the creator, actually, I received an attunement for these. So if you ever have a Reiki session with me, we will be also working with this energy. So what I want to do is see what we can have for chakras. All right, says, I love all the synchronicities and relevance to my own current life lessons. Awesome reading, my friend. Thank you, my friend. I am just so grateful to be able to be an oracle to bring these messages for spirit for all of us. And through myself, I am enlarged in my own healing work from getting all of your messages as well. All right, so we are going to look at just here the chakra energy that we can support at this time. We've got wow, this is so funny. All right, so the three energies for the energy for our feminine is the sacral chakra, and it's Tamasura, which helps with fear. Okay, so just take in this energy here just for a few moments quietly. Our sacral feminine, this is where we create from our creative womb space. So I love that this is the feminine card. And let's see what we have here for Tamasura. There is a little book guidance here that she includes, which says that it can be used to help with fear of all kinds. Okay, so if our feminine is working with the energy of surrendering, then this is a fear. Oh, yay. It said the fever has gone down for the person who is ill watching this evening. That is beautiful. We're surrounding you with a bubble of love and healing light. Okay, yes. Now, as we heal from this feminine side, it says it can be used to help with fear of all kinds, fear of the dark, fear of commitment, fear of people and relationships, fear with loving thyself, fear of animals. Use Tamasura to combat fear of any kind. So we are receiving the chakra support in order to feel comfortable and trusting enough to surrender through our fears. All right. And for the masculine, which is very interesting, we had the solar plexus chakra. This is our doing side, right? So we have that solar plexus, which is how we take stuff out into the world. And so whereas our masculine was about our success. All right. So as we take this is Raku, to ground the solar plexus. Looks like a lightning bolt here, grounding down this energy. All right, so let's just sit with this for 3 breaths. All right. All right, let's see what Raku says here. And it says it is great for grounding and bringing people back to reality. It helps people to connect in with the physical things going on in their lives and to concentrate on what needs to be done. It's also a great symbol for practitioners to use at the end of a treatment to ground both the client and themselves. All right, so we're using this energy at the end of our reading today to ground this wisdom into our daily life so that we actually begin to live it rather than just intend it, okay? Now, for the inner child, we also have Tamasura for the throat chakra. So this is that inner child speaking the truth and seeing things and able to express themselves with honesty. All right, so as we look at the throat chakra, fear of speaking out and speaking things in a way that might be hurtful to others, how we do it. So let's sit with that throat chakra healing here for 3 breaths, all right? All right, so we are healing inside and out and our inner child. And last but not least, the overarching energy is that of, look at this beautiful heart. And it's the solar plexus chakra, which is our empowered external activity and reality. And I forgot, it's also that sun we had from Archangel Raphael as before, okay? And so this is my Yerma, unconditional love. All right, so let us see here. I mean, that's rather self-explanatory in a way, don't you think? And it says, my Yerma can be used to bring about a feeling of pure, unconditional love for self, for others, for a family member, or a stranger. When used, this symbol brings about love, love, love. It's a simple and yet powerful concept, just love. And this is on page 17. That's synchronicity that we often get. And so let's just sit here as we bring this healing session to close. Let's sit here for 5 breaths this time because we are going to change the world with the unconditional love that we are bringing down through ourselves and up from Mother Earth and sending out, letting it overflow out into the world and sending it out into the world with all of our intentions. If you would join with me as we send a few moments in unconditional love. Woo, wow. Talk about energy, all right. Grounding love onto this planet. I am so appreciative of each of you who showed up today for this healing, for Spirit to deliver these messages through to me. Whew, sorry, that last little push there, I got a whole big swirl of energy down through my core. So we were definitely putting our energy together because I definitely felt the fire hose up and open up inside. So thank you to each of you. Please let me know as the days go forward how you proceed from today's healing moment, and just surround ourselves in this bubble of love as we leave from this place, and know that our frequency is absolutely affecting everybody. We are the virus, right? We are viral. Our energy is viral. So let us be the love that we wish to see to ourselves and to the world. Thank you again to each of you, and namaste.